And hello and welcome now to Marathon Stadium, Newcastle. A big crowd, probably in excess of 20,000 to see this match tonight. First weekend of the Winfield Cup 93. The home side, Newcastle, taking on Eastern Suburbs, and David Waite has stuck with the 13 players that he finished 1992 with. Michael Hagan, magnificent record for the club, 89 appearances, hasn't missed a game in four years, and on the two occasions that happened, it was for State of Origin. Crowd basking in beautiful sunshine. They finished fourth on the competition ladder last year, and they ultimately went out in the elimination final to St George in a record low score, 3-2. That man played a big part, Mark Sargent, even though they went down on that occasion. Player in the headgear on the far side of the ground on that left wing will be Tony Herman. Now Eastern Suburbs, they come out behind Captain Craig Salvatore. Finished sixth overall last year and hopeful of better things in the new season. Gary Freeman wears the number 7 shirt. There's their team. A sprinkling of youth, a touch of experience, but Freeman is the man. If he's allowed to fire by Newcastle's defence, Eastern Suburbs could go home with the prize here tonight. They went down 10-0 in the corresponding game last year at Marathon Stadium. Salvatore, East need him to fire up. They need a big game from their captain, front row forward. Probably do the goal kicking here today. Bill Harrigan's the whistleblower. This breeze today is coming directly across the ground. On the far side is the scoreboard side, and the breeze is coming from right behind that, right into our faces on the main grandstand side. Ground looks to be in very fast condition. Schuster it is that kicks off, and it's not the deep kick-off that we see from Schuster. Eastern Suburbs coming up with the ball just outside their 20-metre line on the first play. Ricketson has gone into dummy half. It's his second touch of the ball in just 2 tackles. And Peter Sterling joins me in commentary tonight.
Yes, Ray, last season we saw Eastern Suburbs get away to a flying start to the season. They actually led the competition for 3 months, and it was courtesy of no-nonsense football, no mistakes in their own quarter. And the opportunities presented themselves, they were able to capitalise. I'm sure that's the kind of style of play we shall see out here this afternoon against this Newcastle outfit. Once again, you've mentioned Gary Freeman leading the way. He is the key.
Wearing the headgear is Herman, and now Harrigan. Met by 3 Eastern Suburbs defenders, about 9 metres short of the halfway, through the hands of Rodwell, finding Glanville. Freeman came up with Salvatore to put Glanville away. Sargent tries to get through the defence on the blind side. He's tackled right on the halfway mark. Good run by Sargent, nevertheless. Rodwell drops it on the boot. Beecalf came through trying to put some pressure on the kicker. Now Silver.
That may well be the tactics we see kick-wise for the Newcastle side. Matthew Rodwell going to the air. They're into a fairly strong breeze. A good run here from Appleby, a former back rower at Canterbury in the lower grades, making a transition onto the wing. I think we'll see Matthew Rodwell kick high as the first penalty is awarded against Newcastle for pushing the tackle player down.
Well, you'll see Appleby here. He tries to get to his feet to play the ball. He's helped down again by Harrigan. Brendan Hall taking the kick for touch. 35 metres out from his own line. The breeze pushing that kick across the ground. Tap 10 metres into Newcastle's area. Appleby. Marshall at dummy half in the headgear. Beecraft to play it. Freeman. They work the angles on this occasion, and Salvatore is wrapped up and put to ground there by David Boyd. Lost the ball. Losing the ball in the tackle against Salvatore, the scrum will go down.
Very well read there by David Boyd. Took Salvatore front on. A set play by the Eastern Suburbs team, but well read by the Newcastle defence.
Rodwell working it. Kept in the scrum by Newcastle. Harrigan could have easily pinched Eastern Suburbs for being inside the 5. He allowed them to go. Now Brunker. Under a bit of a cloud coming into this game, but obviously passed the test of the medicos. And Harrigan has spotted a swinging arm, I believe, in the tackle, that of Dennis Beecraft. And this is going to be a penalty for Newcastle. 6 or 7 metres their side of the halfway. Here's the incident.
Nothing in that at all. Beecraft got a pretty good shot on his opposite number, David Mullane there. Mullane made a good charge on the fringe of the ruck. Thought it was a fairly harsh penalty, but the kind of penalty we have seen plenty of during the pre-season competition.
Tap to be taken, 35 metres out from the Eastern Suburbs line. Away from McCormick. A dummy for Harrigan. He let him go, and Schuster it is that takes it to ground. Rodwell runs the decoy. Sargent. It goes to ground, 30 metres out. Now they come to Rodwell. Rodwell pops it onto the chest of David Boyd. Chance, oh no, I think he's bummed it. He had an opportunity to give it to Godden. Now Hagan stretches the ball, left for Rodwell. Holds it back, Rodwell, and is eventually wrapped up by the Roosters, 18 metres out. McCormick, Hagan, around the back. Boyd, he's prominent, isn't he? The number 11 for Newcastle in everything at the moment. Brunker, 15 metres out. They'll go to the air here. Hagan, no, puts it through the hands. Now they go to the air, off the boot of Rodwell. Pressure for Silva, and he takes it magnificently and will bring it back for the start. Back at the centre of the 22. Marshall.
As we've seen for a couple of seasons now, Newcastle run a lot of second man plays. Every now and then they pick up one of the forwards going through who looks like he's going to be a decoy runner. We saw Mark Sargent score a try against Canberra in the pre-season competition. On that occasion, Boyd straight through. Newcastle, the Eastern Suburbs defence, looking for the second man instead of the normal decoy player.
Orford. Good metres, up to the halfway mark. Well, that was a let-off for Eastern Suburbs, in my opinion. If Boyd had have seen on the left that Godden was unmarked, I'm almost certain Godden would have gone in under the uprights. Scrum to pack now, back on the Newcastle 20-metre line. Just the one decided scrum so far. Harrigan wants it again. He wants that ball in the tunnel between the legs, the foremost legs of the near side props. Well, Harrigan.
You see, for the Eastern Suburbs team, they have the ability to swap their players around. Brendan Hall was actually playing 5'8" from that scrum. He's named in the centres. He'd swapped with Scott Murray, looking to bring Brendan Hall's expertise in defence closer to the ruck whenever they're able to. Penalty to Newcastle side, Eastern Suburbs inside the 5.
Right in the centre of the park, and the Eastern Suburbs, many of them in front of the referee. Opting not to find the line, they've taken the tap. McCormick plays it. Hagan with it now. Short pass and beautifully delivered from Mullane. Stood offering it, but nobody was there in a position to run off him, and another penalty goes to Newcastle. It's against the Roosters for hanging on in the tackle, not allowing the player to rise immediately and play it. No score. Brunker with a very good kick finds the line just inside the 20-metre lane, 20-metre zone. Boyd, Cormack, Schuster. Now they've got it to the centre.
Yes, they'll run their second man plays and decoy plays once again. They've had a lot of success. Well, they won't need to here. They've got a penalty again, Eastern Suburbs. Craig Salvatore claiming he was held down by the tackle player, by the jersey. The referee doesn't agree. They have a penalty right in front of the posts, 20 metres out.
They don't come much simpler than this. Referee waiting for the Newcastle side to make their decision. No decision to be made, really. Schuster, Kiwi, one of several Kiwis that have been with the Newcastle club since their entry into the league. And a fine kicker of the ball he is. Right in front, 20 metres out. Breeze coming directly across the flight path of this kick. He should make it. Schuster moves in now, strikes it, doesn't hit it hard, doesn't hit it sweetly at all, actually. It's offline and no score there for Newcastle. A golden opportunity, though. 0-0 then. .22 drop kick restart.
Early in this game, Eastern Suburbs have given away a lot of penalties. Something I'm sure Mark Murray will discuss with them at half-time. 4-1 at the moment. Really given the opportunity to Newcastle to get a roll on, get that momentum going. Brad Godden tackled just inside his own half.
The lane. 45 metres out now. McCormick, Sargent. Two of the biggest front rowers in the league. Let's work out of the Newcastle scrum. Mark Sargent and Paul Harrigan. Hagan working with Rodwell. They're coming up quickly, Eastern Suburbs. They're shutting down the Rodwell-Hagan combination as much as possible. Godden away, Schuster in and away. 30-metre line has been reached as he kicks it ahead. Silver's there, though. And again, the Eastern Suburbs fullback is able to clean up.
Smart piece of play from Newcastle. It was the last tackle. They developed an overlap. Schuster took it as far as he could before putting it along the ground. Good cover there by Rod Silver. A nice option on the last play.
Just outside their own 20-metre line. Sinclair. Free. Cuts out Beecraft, finds Salvatore, and they promote the ball quickly across the line. That's Orford, I believe. Reaching the halfway mark. Ricketson to the dummy half. Freeman puts it in the air, and I thought that Eastern Suburbs would let it bounce, but Singh tried to kick it through, and Newcastle come up with it.
Well, I thought Singh should have caught the ball. He came through. There was no Newcastle player or defender within a couple of yards of him. If he'd have caught that and turned and found some support, may have been a chance for Eastern Suburbs. Now Newcastle once again looking to work it out. Mark Landville driven back in a good tackle by 3 Eastern Suburbs defenders.
Time and motion study of time in possession would be interesting at this point in time. It's hard to remember Eastern Suburbs having the football, other than for just a fleeting second or so. Played by Rodwell, away from McCormick, through the hands of Boyd. Torpedo pass for Hagan. Quick hands to Brunker. Brunker kicks ahead. Silver's got a mile of time to clean it up. Silver away from Herman. Beat Brunker the first time, took it out to the 30-metre line.
He's a great broken play runner, isn't he, Rod Silver? Just makes it look so easy. Thought Adrian Brunker should have run the football there. When he kicked it, it really gave an easy take for Rod Silver coming across the 3rd or 4th bounce. We see a sloppy play the ball here, and it's going to be Luke Ricketson who's penalised.
Well, Harrigan has penalised the attacking side, that being Eastern Suburbs, and the penalty.
Well, he's tried to milk the play, hasn't he, Ricketson, and the referee has gone against him on that occasion. He could have taken half a step forward and played it without any trouble whatsoever. In fact, if he'd have done that, the Newcastle player lying in the dummy half area would have been penalised. Just tried to overdo it there, Ricketson.
5-1 the penalties to Newcastle. Already an alarming proportion. It's a strange rule, that one, by the same token. Sometimes you'll find referees fall for a player milking the penalty very, very quickly. They're at the ready to give him a penalty, but that time it's backfired on Eastern Suburbs. Welcome to our viewers through Perth and Adelaide today. Schuster now from right in front, 30 metres out. Missed a kick like this just earlier on. This time he's missed it again. Beecraft comes back to the 12-metre point. Gaffey. No score. Oh, that's a crunching tackle. Harrigan and Sargent working as a pair. Salvatore lurking on a pretty wide blind side. Orford was able to get away from a couple of tackles, but then he's lost the football.
He's done well, Michael Hagan, coming across in cover. He's hurt himself in the tackle. Didn't get a great shot on Orford, who did very, very well to beat his winger here. Look at this, the in and away. Gets around Tony Herman. Here's Michael Hagan coming across. Ball goes out.
Newcastle winning the scrum right on the halfway mark. Branco tries to make the break, but it's shut down there by Scott Murray, the 5'8" for Eastern Suburbs today. Glanville. No gain in ground. Boyd promotes it now up inside the 40-metre line.
Been very good the second rows for Newcastle. David Mullane and David Boyd, the 11 and 12, really made a lot of yards. It's a good defence there on Michael Hagan. Again, Eastern Suburbs getting up very quickly. That time it was Wayne Marshall.
Wide ball for Harrigan. Salvatore was there, and so too was Singh, the second rower. Rodwell, Hagan. Hagan kicks for the outside man. Robbie O'Davis on a chase down the ground, but Silver is there to cover and clean up for Eastern Suburbs. Appleby away off his own line. Hit very hard by O'Davis. He tried to pick him up and drive him back into the in goal, forcing a line dropout. Freeman plays it. Brendan Hall.
It's 4 tackles now. They've only gone 8 metres. It's like a kick from well in their own quarter here.
Sinclair. Only 15 metres out from their line, and this is their last tackle. Freeman. Well, he's not going to get a great field position off that kick. In fact, it's Newcastle that comes up with the ball in great field position. And Godden is tackled on the first, 42 metres out. And again a penalty to Newcastle. Eastern Suburbs inside the 5. Well, Mark Murray must be pulling his hair out.
So an interesting decision coming up now. We've seen John Schuster miss 2 very easy attempts at goal from penalties. A little bit of a discussion out there now as to whether to kick for touch or for goal. Michael Hagan steps up.
Now he sent Hagan, I think, to the blood bin as Brunker kicks for the line. Jason Martin coming on for Newcastle. Jason joining Newcastle from North Sydney this year. McCormick. Schuster. Martin will slot into that position very quickly and very readily. Rodwell fades around from behind and takes the reverse pass on another occasion. Comes back across the ground and is pulled down about 25 metres out from the Eastern Suburbs line. McCormick for Martin. Martin holding it back, letting Sargent go. Then Boyd puts Mullane through a gap, but Mullane is tackled. Good defence there by both Freeman and also Marshall. Sargent, he's 15 metres out, stands and gets it away. It's with Godden. Godden with nobody to give it to. And still they're 15 out. Martin. Harrigan. Gaffey takes him around the bootlaces. High first and then low. Rodwell away. Godden floats the pass across. Brunker puts it down, and it's picked up by Eastern Suburbs, but the referee has ruled the turnover. The ball went forward. Well, to Eastern Suburbs' credit, they've had this rash of penalties go against them, but been able to scramble and defend very well.
Their defence has been great, Ray, hasn't it? The big men from Newcastle keep coming at them. Magnificent tackle from Nigel Gaffey on Paul Harrigan in full cry there. And I guess that Eastern Suburbs, looking at the scoreboard, 0-0, they'd be fairly happy with that, with the way the possession that's been against them.
Freeman did well. Silver came into support. Singh takes it ahead, but Sargent wraps him up 40 metres out. He gets the pass out the back for Marshall. And referee Harrigan is sending another player to the blood bin, this time Nigel Gaffey for Eastern Suburbs. Jason Tassel going on in jumper number 53 for the Roosters. Bad pass picked up by Beecraft, and he's put down by Harrigan. Centre of the ground, 35 metres out from their own line. Freeman sending it down. He gets a bad bounce, Freeman, but it's given Marshall a chance to come through, put it on the boot. But Herman is there to pick it up for Newcastle. Still no score. Newcastle could well have been 4 points to 0 in front, but Schuster has missed 2 attempts at penalty from right in front. Play by Martin. This is Boyd. McCormick. Glanville. Halfway line. McCormick again. Rodwell coming in from the back. Herman brought down just outside the 40-metre point. Silva, no pressure on him. He's planted the ball, so everybody's onside now. Brendan Hall. Little scampers out from dummy half by the speed men. Ricketson. Marshall away now for Freeman. Beecraft did well. Freeman supported. Freeman, 360 degrees. Back he comes. Here he comes again. This is the bell lap. 30 metres out from his line. Centre of the park. Marshall makes his first scoot out from dummy half, and this time Harrigan has ruled the Newcastle markers. They're not standing immediately and directly in front of the man playing the ball.
It was a big play from both Gary Freeman and Wayne Marshall. Freeman got a quick play of the ball in, tied up the markers. Wayne Marshall scampered out, caught them inside the 5.
Brendan Hall taking the penalty kick for touch. Doesn't go for anything extravagant and finds the line almost on halfway. Salvatore beats the first attempt. Stands in the second, off for Freeman, Beecraft, and now for Murray. Tassel. Freeman again. Floats it out wide. Finds young Ricketson, but Newcastle defence equal to it. They've had all the play, Newcastle, and how often in rugby league do you see that being the case, that the other team invariably is the team that scores first? Eastern Suburbs coughing up possession. Herman goes out from dummy half. Brunker. Malay. Solid tackle by Singh. Rodwell. Harrigan. Flicks it out the back. Martin supports.
We've got Michael Hagan on the sideline now, just about to come back from the blood bin. Newcastle keeping the ball alive. Robin McCormack beats the tackle of his opposite man, Wayne Marshall. And Hagan comes back on. Jason Martin leaves the field.
Rodwell. 5 tackles gone. They're 40 metres out. They're right in front as it comes to Hagan. Hagan thought about the kick. Then he dummied and gave the pass to Mullane, and Harrigan has called it forward. Well, it looked okay to me.
Very touch and go, that decision. There was a try on for Newcastle if play had been allowed. There it is, it's the last tackle. Or maybe a touch forward. Hagan going backwards didn't help.
This is Appleby. Both minor grades. Going to Newcastle today, and Newcastle inside the 5 now. So Eastern Suburbs get their first opportunity at points. That's if, in fact, they want to take them. Jason Lowry in jumper number 54. Have to come on as Eastern Suburbs decide to kick for the line. And Brendan Hall goes for more yardage this time. John Schuster getting a hand to it, but I think he was out of the field of play when he touched it.
It'll be a scrum now for Eastern Suburbs. Not as good a result, but it does mean that the forwards are out of play now, so a great attacking opportunity here. Plenty of field to work with for the Roosters.
3-0 the scrums to Newcastle. Freeman working this. In fact, this is his first feed of the scrum today. Murray does some elusive stepping. 9 metres out from the line, played back to Appleby. Appleby takes it towards the centre. Freeman's now in position. He wants it on the right. They come back and they run decoys, and Salvatore goes within a metre of the line. Marshall. And Freeman knocks on. Well, he got an awful pass from his dummy half.
Not for the first time, Wayne Marshall throwing a bad pass out of dummy half. They really did have an overlap out wide, but the first pass, the important pass, didn't go to hand.
So any pressure that Eastern Suburbs might have been offering has been snuffed out by that mistake. And Rodwell it is that goes away from the Hagan play the ball. Harrigan. Nothing in it, just a dour game of rugby league. Newcastle trying to muscle their way through the centre. But Eastern Suburbs, if there has been a highlight of the game, it has been the Eastern Suburbs defence.
They have worked their way back into the game, haven't they? They've had a little bit more possession of late. I did speak to Jack Gibson before the match, and he was fairly confident that East put up not just a good performance, but could take this game. Said that the side was very healthy, about as good a side as they could name early on. And they're just getting back into this game after what was an ordinary start with the fact they had no football.
Ricketson.
Played well, Luke Ricketson, hasn't he? Defended very strongly, and he's run the ball well.
Appleby did well, got a pass out the back after drawing 2 defenders. And now one of their fastest players, if not their fastest player, Jeff Orford. Plays it 40 metres out. Marshall goes for a scamper out of dummy half again. Makes about 10 metres as Lowry goes on for Eastern Suburbs. Freeman, cut out pass. Lowry was there to take it on the fingertips. And he'll play the ball 20 metres away from the Newcastle line. Freeman again, steps around Schuster, puts the kick in the air. They all look to be onside to me. Godden makes the mistake. Here's a try coming. Young Murray will go in and pick up the first try. Murray scores for Eastern Suburbs. Freeman, he threw the Newcastle side. A dummy by the step around Schuster, and then he holds back the kick.
They have looked vulnerable, Newcastle, against the high kick. They haven't really contested them that well. There's Godden flying in, unable to come up with the ball, and good work from the replacement player, Jason Lowry, his second touch of the football. And he finds on his outside Scott Murray, who improved the angle. 4 points to 0 Eastern Suburbs. A good kick. Godden, well, there were players around him. He just didn't judge it as well as he would have liked. Plenty of Eastern Suburbs support players there. As I said, Newcastle have looked vulnerable when the ball's gone high.
Scott Murray gets the first try of the game. And there's that theory coming out again. You can have your backs to the wall for 25 minutes. If you can weather the storm I don't know what the averages are, but 9 times out of 10, it's that team that will come back and score first. They've got some reason for concern, haven't they, Newcastle? They've had everything going their way. They haven't been able to break them. And now they're down 4-0. Brendan Hall, with the goal-kicking duties today, hooks this one too much, and no addition to the scoreboard. Eastern Suburbs leading Newcastle 4 points to 0.
They've done well, the Roosters, putting the first points on the board. Worked hard up front, taken plenty of punishment, going in on the big Newcastle forwards who have taken the ball at speed off the likes of Hagan, Matthew Rodwell. They've got their nose in front.
Restart by John Schuster. Freeman electing to send his captain back at the defence. Salvatore tackle just outside the 20-metre zone. Gaffey. Singh. Gaffey again.
You talk about the amount of times that the side that hasn't had the football and had to defend a lot actually strikes back and scores the points. It's amazing also how many tries are scored in the game of rugby league from kicks. Well taken there by Herman. Good chase once again from Jeff Orford. On Friday night, of course, we travelled to Canberra and saw St George come up with a great win down there. Noel Goldthorpe put on 2 tries from kicks. We've seen one already. One of the Newcastle players in a little bit of trouble here. He hasn't moved.
His head really hit the ground hard, Peter. I'm just wondering, I've got a feeling it's Brad Godden, but I'm not absolutely sure.
Yes, it is Brad Godden. Taken by Orford, swung down. Oh, yeah. Head made very heavy contact with the ground. They've called for the stretcher. All the momentum going with the tackle. Meant there was going to be a fair shot, and some concern shown there by Jeff Orford.
And the stretcher's being called for. Brad Godden, very heavily concussed. He made the Australian touring party to England for their recent conquest of the World Cup. And he made this city of Newcastle very proud of him. But right now he's unaware of his achievements in the latter part of last year, because he's taken a very, very heavy knock.
Not really aware of anything at the moment, is he, Ray? Unfortunately, he's be a loss to the Newcastle side. He started the game off fairly brightly, Godden. Couldn't come up with the catch when the try was scored, but he didn't get a great deal of help from his teammates, I didn't think, on that occasion. And his attacking play will be missed. Eastern Suburbs club Dr. Neil Halpin has been called out now. They haven't attempted to move him at all. Stretcher sat there for a couple of minutes now. Eastern Suburbs players taking a well-earned rest. Newcastle players milling around, concerned that their fullback is in a little bit of trouble. And the number 15 looks like Jamie Ainscoe will be the replacement player coming on, former Western Suburbs player. Has had a lot of experience in the fullback position and at first grade level.
Well, the two Eastern Suburbs players that are most concerned were those involved in the tackle. The chief tackler was Jeff Orford, and he's very, very, very concerned. 4-0 in favour of Eastern Suburbs.
It's just one of those things that can happen in a game, isn't it, Ray, that there's no malice or intent in the tackle apart from putting the player down as quickly and in the best possible manner. Jeff Orford basically swung him down into the ground, and unfortunately for Godden, the momentum was going all that way.
For the first time today, we're going across Australia through NWS 9 in Adelaide and STW 9 in Perth. And I did welcome you earlier, but again, a very sincere wish that you're going to enjoy 1993's rugby league. This match has been very, very tight, very tight. It hasn't been what you would call an open game of rugby league that brings the crowd to its feet. This was the only try in the match. Let's go back and have a look at it. And it came from some lead-up work by Gary Freeman.
Yes, good work from Freeman to evade the only pressure coming through. And I didn't think that Newcastle, again, contested the ball very effectively. We saw a lot of Newcastle players standing around. Godden was the only man to go high. The replacement player, Lowry, came up with the football. Scott Murray, he had a man outside him. He was the man who scored the try, but he did have plenty of support with him. And that put Eastern Suburbs 4-0 in front. That's the scoreline at the moment, and they have worked their way back into this game very effectively. Their defence has been outstanding, and that's really why they led the competition for 3 months last year. They based their game on defence, and when opportunities arose, they were good enough to convert them, as we saw in that try.
Now, Dr. Neil Halpin, who's with the Eastern Suburbs club, he's the man with the collar and tie.
Place the neck brace.
Yeah, the neck brace has gone on Brad Godden. That would be simply a precaution. The major concern, of course, is, I'm sure, is the heavy concussion, as his head came in contact with what looks like a very hard surface here at Marathon Stadium. So young Brad Godden is taken from the field. And his place has been taken by Jamie Ainscough. And referee Harrigan calls time back on. Boyd. In fact, it was Herman. Flash of the headgear and took a punt on him. But there's a great pass by Harrigan, but the referee says forward.
Yes, got to agree. I thought it was a touch forward. Took it on the fly, Robbie O'Davis. You see Harrigan making a very solid charge through Salvatore's tackle. Yes, just forward. I thought good decision. O'Davis was away.
Scrum packing down. Right on the halfway line. Gaffey, Freeman, Appleby. Wrapped up by Ainscough. Keep working away at the blind side. Lowry. 38 metres away from the Newcastle line. Gaffey. Taken by Harrigan low. Glanville over the top. Robbie O'Davis has dropped back to full back. Ainscough has gone onto the wing. Marshall. Freeman comes from the open to the blind. He lets two decoy runners go. And then rather embarrassingly passes behind Appleby. So the scrum will go down 28 metres out.
Well, some crisscross play here from Eastern Suburbs. Salvatore was the decoy. You saw that the number 4, Brendan Hall, went to go inside Freeman. A lack of communication.
Hagan, Schuster. They've been a bit unlucky, Newcastle, in two regards, and they were both close calls for referee Harrigan on the forward pass issue. I've got no doubts that at least one of them would have resulted in a try. Rodwell around the back and away for Harrigan to get to the halfway. Got a pass inside, picked up beautifully by O'Davis, given away for Rodwell, and Rodwell is put down. Gaffey and Freeman make the tackle. Dummy half is Boyd. Now it goes to the left for McCormick without the headgear now. Hagan around the back for O'Davis. That pass was forward to Glanville. Then it goes to Brunker. Brunker gets a pass inside. They're not beaten yet, Newcastle, on this particular play anyway. Hagan is brought down. 9 metres out from the line. Away it comes from Herman through O'Davis. Out to McCormick. On to Rodwell. Put down by Mullane. That'll be play on. No, he's called the knock on.
Well, sparkling play from Newcastle. Matthew Rodwell just picking out the wrong man on that occasion. Probably the second man play was the go there, but he decided to go to David Mullane. We've seen some great build-up here. There's McCormack picking up Rodwell. I thought the second man pass to Schuster was the pass. Appleby had gone in. They had an overlap.
Brendan Hall. as Eastern Suburbs bring it away from their own 30-metre zone. Sinclair, 45 metres out from his line. Marshall, Freeman, Lowry, crossing the halfway, getting a one-hander away. And Murray is picked up and pummeled into the ground by Herman. Freeman kicks ahead, not much space to work in, finds the line, 30 metres out now from Newcastle's try line.
The game really starting to warm up now, 8 minutes out from half-time, coming into a danger period. Both sides starting to string together some passes. Newcastle looking very good with their support play. Every time they turn, there's somebody there.
5-2, the scrum advantage to Newcastle, but simply means in this case that they've fed the ball 5 times to 2. Nothing against the head. Herman has really injected himself into this game. He's not a big man, but he's very, very strong. And every time he's come into this Newcastle side, on the occasions we've televised them, he's done some very good work. Brunker plays it. McCormick sweeps it. Rodwell gives it. Sargent is with it. 2 metres his own side of the halfway. McCormick again. Rodwell. Mullane out wide. Use him as a decoy. Hagan. I thought for a moment he was going to be able to find O'Davis, who was coming on a run-around mission. 5 gone. Rodwell. Silva's got a long run on his hands. It'll come to rest in the in goal, and Silva forced to bring it back. Brunker is the main tackle.
It was a great kick there from Matthew Rodwell, driving the ball away from Eastern Suburbs fullback. It was into the wind, and they will have the luxury of the wind in the second half. It'll be a plus for Newcastle. I think their kicking game has been certainly longer, maybe not as effective as Eastern Suburbs, who we saw score a try from it. But that will be a big plus for them for the second 40 minutes.
Orford wrapped up. Tassel. 4 points to 0 then. Just the one try in the game. Brendan Hall taken solidly in the tackle, and this has been ruled as a knock-on against both. The crowd giving Harrigan the rounds of the kitchen.
Well, it was still
I'd love to see this, because I think he's made a mistake here. Let's watch it.
Well, he's ruled that Ainscough knocked on as well, which means that he'd have been offside.
Well, that's exactly the point I was going to make. It probably should have been a penalty to Eastern Suburbs. Brunker. O'Davis. Sargent. Out the back, bad pass, and they've paid the penalty. Played by Gaffey. This man has had an impact on the game. Lowry stands, offloads for Marshall. Up to the halfway and pulled down by Hagan. Penalty goes to Eastern Suburbs. It's against the Newcastle tackler.
The emphasis in the game now is to play the ball as quickly as you can. It does lead to a lot of sloppy play of the balls. Certainly one of those on that occasion. I think the man was Wayne Marshall, but he has earned his side a penalty.
Brendan Hall, the line finder. And the tap to be taken by Wayne Marshall. They played the major part of last year without Marshall. He was a very good contributor. Good dummy half. Quite fast. In fact, I think he was the club man of the year in 1991 for Eastern Suburbs. Freeman using a second-man runner. Tassel. Read well by Boyd and McCormick. Now Freeman goes across to the blind side, picks up Gaffey. Gaffey can't get the pass away. 15 metres out from the line. Salvatore comes onto it. He's pulled down 5 metres out. Eastern Suburbs looking for more points in front of the halftime siren. That's play on for Gaffey. Back now for Marshall. He's wrapped up just out from the line. 5 tackles gone. 4 points to 0 in favour of Eastern Suburbs. Freeman gets his kick in. Rodwell cleans up in the in goal. It'll be a line dropout.
The replacement player for Newcastle.
Excellent work from Eastern Suburbs there, keeping the ball alive. Salvatore getting involved, Freeman running the show. Good defence also from the Knights. Matthew Rodwell knocking the ball down, tried to catch it on the full, which would have meant we'd have gone back to a 20-metre tap start. A couple of minutes left on the clock. Eastern Suburbs just about have the last attacking opportunity this first half.
Rodwell's kick is a good one, further than the halfway line. Salvatore brings it across and finds Silva, but McCormick makes a good one-on-one tackle. I note that Paul Marquette has gone on for Newcastle. Freeman sliding across the ground. Brendan Hall tries to get between them. Oh, Murray got a great pass away for Freeman. It didn't eventuate into anything, though, and now Appleby makes the mistake. Scrum will go down 30 metres away from the Newcastle line. And this will probably be the last scrum of the first half, because there's only about 2 minutes to go. In fact, less than that. Fed by Rodwell. Way to Hagan. And Davis coming in from fullback. Silva read the play and makes the tackle.
So too did Luke Ricketson. He stayed out on his man. Silva came up with the important tackle. But if Ricketson had have come in there and the pass had have been thrown, there was an overlap out wide. Very important that there's good communication when playing against Newcastle, because they do run so many decoy players. You must know who you've got and who your teammate has got.
Sargent offloading for Rodwell, then on to Hagan. Hagan holds it back, finds Brunker, but Brunker is pulled down 45 metres away from the Eastern Suburbs line. They're a fair way out, aren't they, as Hagan comes across the halfway. They're back in their own territory. Out it comes from Rodwell to Schuster. Bumps away from a couple of tackles. They're not going ahead, though. O'Davis away for Hagan. Hagan takes the tackle right smack bang in the centre of the ground.
It is great to see the ball movement we have seen in this first half, but last tackle now, Matthew Rodwell again putting it high. No real pressure once again on Silver. He takes it nicely.
So everything that Newcastle has done, Eastern Suburbs have been able to repel them and in fact come back and lead in this match 4 points to nil. Played by Appleby. Singh. Dwarfed there by a Harrigan tackle. Lowry.
This is the last play of the first half. The ball goes to Wayne Singh, takes the tackle.
And the siren in the background. So there's the end of the first segment of this game. 40 minutes. And Eastern Suburbs lead Newcastle by 4 points to nil. So with Eastern Suburbs leading 4 points to nil, Salvatore kicks off to start second half of the action. And Newcastle another 40 minutes of time in which to try and crack this Eastern Suburbs defence, which until now has been nigh on impregnable. Glenville.
Both teams have made a lot of missed tackles, Ray, but they've been able to cover it up very well. They scramble particularly well in their defence. Once they've been busted, they get back. The intensity is there, the urgency is there. And that's why we're seeing the scoreline as it is, 4-0. It's been a big effort from the Roosters to hold out. Newcastle, that's touched. Jamie Ainscough regathers.
Tremendous piece of work by Ainscough. The ball was touched in flight. Ainscough plays it now. Away from Marquette to Hagan, then to Rodwell. Schuster, 15 metres out from the line. Rodwell, Hagan. Marquette runs as the decoy. Boyd tries to go through the gap. Dummy half is McCormick. Sargent. McCormick again. Knock behind him. A sloppy passage of play, really. Just when they had a chance to go on with it. Now Hagan uses Rodwell. Out it goes to Schuster. He kicks for Ainscough, but Ainscough is beaten by the ball bouncing over the touchline.
But again, we saw Eastern Suburbs reform so well in defence. That man there, Jamie Amesco, came up with the ball that had been touched in flight, but in the next set of 1 or 2 tackles, Eastern Suburbs were all back and had a very good line intact.
Appleby. Being busy. A good strong game, actually. Brendan Hall pushing away from one, but not from Paul Marquette and Paul Harrigan. Tassel came on in the latter part of the first half. No markers there for Newcastle. Lowry able to get the pass away for Freeman. Freeman gets inside Brunker, makes good yardage, down about 30 metres out, beats another, looks for support in vain. Pulled down by Robbie O'Davis. Away now from Orford, through Marshall. It's gone on through Murray. Salvatore floats it out. Brendan Hall gives it to Appleby. Appleby goes for the corner, but Ainscough wraps him up. 5 tackles gone now. Eastern Suburbs, Gaffey. Gaffey goes for the corner and puts it down. That's the second try to Eastern Suburbs, and scored by Nigel Gaffey.
And great work from the Roosters, firstly by Gary Freeman down this side of the field. He beat the tackle of Matthew Rodwell coming up in cover defence. They fanned the ball, beautiful work from Salvatore. This was the play that set it up. Gary Freeman beats his opposing player, very selective, didn't want to throw a silly ball. And have a look at this for hands as we lead into the next play. Well, eventually you'll see the markers go to sleep. There's Ainscough. One of the markers had to go to the blind side. Nigel Gaffey read it particularly well. They were under a lot of pressure. In the previous play, Salvatore threw a beautiful pass to Brendan Hall. And eventually Nigel Gaffey took advantage of that. Have a look at this pass now. Salvatore, outside Schuster, picks up a flying Brendan Hall. Appleby does a marvellous job to catch that one. Thought he'd gone past Jamie Ainscough. Now the marker work is ordinary here. Ainscough fighting. Hagan, well, he was going to the open side as well. You won't see an easier try.
Nigel Gaffey, who joined the Eastern Suburbs side from the Canberra Raiders. And he's the man that gets the try for Eastern Suburbs. 8 points to 0. And here's Brendan Hall now. From the sideline, the breeze will be with this kick. 22 metres out. It's got plenty of height and distance. Oh, it's a great kick. Sensational kick by Brendan Hall. 10-0 in favour of Eastern Suburbs.
Great kick there from Brendan Hall. There was actually a kick-off of training during the week between Salvatore and Hall as to who would take the goal-kicking responsibilities. They came up with the right man on that occasion.
Well, are we watching what could well be an upset result? I think the majority of people thought Newcastle would win this one, that marathon, but now 10-0 down, the favourites. As Ricketson has tackled 30 metres out from his own line. Orford. Marshall wants a quick play. Didn't get it. Freeman. And this is Murray. Competent number 6. Seen not a great deal of him, but what he's done has got a bit of quality about it. Singh plays it on 5. Newcastle's inside the 5, talking with that numeral. As Freeman puts it high, O'Davis, he brings it back almost to the 40-metre line. Dummy half Ainscough. Schuster. Rodwell away for Glanville. Whenever you put your head down and run at Eastern Suburbs, they're going to wrap you up easily. Gee, that pass looked dubious from Hagan across for Harrigan. Eastern Suburbs eat this sort of stuff up. There's the big tackle over the top from Tassel, and they get the mistake.
They've done a good job, the replacement players for East. Both Jason Tassel and Jason Lowry had an impact out there. Here's Murray into half the gap, can't get through. Tackle around the legs.
He had the overlap too. They had 3-on-2 Eastern Suburbs. Lowry stands in the tackle, picks up Murray. And Murray is dwarfed into the ground there by Mark Sargent and David Boyd. Sing again. Backslam by Paul Marquette. Some assistance from Harrigan. Freeman. Wide ball for Ricketson, then for Silva. Steps, beats the forwards, comes to the 10-metre line. Good head-on tackle by O'Davis. One-on-one tackle. Ricketson, 2 metres out from the line. 5 gone. Marshall. Back for Salvatore. Cut out pass. Orford. He goes in to pick up a try. Eastern Suburbs really starting to carve the Knights up.
And what about this for a start? The first 7 minutes of the second half, Eastern Suburbs have just shown what they are capable of. Beautiful work from Craig Salvatore on the blind side. I don't know whether he meant this pass, but it was a pearler. Look at this. The cut-out pass. 3 men actually went on Rod Silva, and Jeff Orford had a fairly easy run to the line. Good lead up once again in the previous couple of plays. Salvatore, the big cut-out pass, caught the winger out. Tony Herman. And Jeff Orford again runs in the try. This is the lead-up play. Some beautiful work here by Luke Ricketson, puts Silva into a gap. He steps inside Mark Glanville, who was off balance. A nice tackle at fullback from Robbie O'Davis. But they had the momentum, Eastern Suburbs, and they put it into points.
Jeff Orford, the try scorer. Brendan Hall from the sideline again. This one's going to be much more difficult because it's from the opposite side of the ground and a very strong breeze. Coming into the teeth of this kick. He's got the distance, I think, the direction, just short. Good kick, but no points. 14-0 in favour of Eastern Suburbs over Newcastle. I don't think there'd be too many people thought they would see that scoreline today. Apart maybe from Gary Freeman and Mark Murray. Schuster starts. Freeman.
There's no doubt most people were tipping a Newcastle win up here, especially in front of their big crowd. But again, you can't get caught up with underestimating this Eastern Suburbs team. They only just missed the 5 last year, of course. It was well documented that when Gary Freeman was out with rep honours, and they'll get a penalty here as well, which will help their cause. Salvatore out suspended. That dented their chances, but they did lead the competition for a long time.
Brendan Hall coming over. And the play that they're going to use, the set play, called by, I would imagine, Salvatore or Freeman. It wouldn't matter which one did that job. Everybody aware of what they've got to do, and Lowry is put down. 41 metres out from his own line. Marshall dances out from dummy half. A couple of paces just slowed things down, and that's why Singh did not get to the advantage line. Freeman. Tassel. Rodwell low. Hagan over the top. This is Lowry. That's the first mistake he's made amongst some quality things that he's done, Lowry. And this scrum to pack down. 10 metres into Eastern Suburbs area. If they're going to do something, they're going to have to do it soon, Newcastle. Glanville. Players that you grow accustomed to seeing, running at gaps and coming out the other side. They're just not able to find it in this Eastern Suburbs defensive line. Sargent, Harrigan, oh, good work. Boyd away for Schuster. This has got to be a try. Ainsko, he puts it down for the Knights. Well, at last, they can breathe that feeling of satisfaction.
There's a beautiful try there, but some lazy defence apart from Gary Freeman on the blind side of the ruck. Have a look at this. They switch play. Gary Freeman is already up there. There's other support players in defence. Salvatore didn't come up with him. Neither did Brendan Hall. He may have gone up too quickly, Gary Freeman, but if he was going to go up, they all had to go up together. Beautiful work from the Newcastle side. They took advantage of that poor defence, keeping the ball alive. Lovely pass, that one, onto John Schuster, put him into a gaping hole, and he positioned his player outside the replacement, Jamie Ainscough, very nicely. They had to be the next to score, Newcastle. They're back in the game. Still a lot to do, but they are back into the ball game.
Jamie Ainscough, he was with Western Suburbs, and he joined up with the Knights last year. And Ainscough, of course, brought on to replace Brad Godden, who has since been taken to hospital for observation and, I would imagine, precautionary x-rays. What's that do to a team, Pete, when you have a mate taken off and he's obviously fairly seriously hurt?
Well, it's very difficult. Obviously, great concern, but you've just got to be confident enough to forget that and just get on with the job.
Well, that's what John Schuster's got. One hell of a kick. But he has got the breeze with him. 20 metres out. There it goes, but he's hooked it too much. No goal. 14-4 now in favour of East over Newcastle. I wonder, is that the start of what will be a successful comeback for Newcastle?
Eastern Suburbs just want to make sure they don't get into that comfort zone. They had a big lead. It's not big enough to win a game against a side like Newcastle who can hit back. We've already seen them do that. They just don't want to think they've got this game won at this stage.
Salvatore will get us started. $15,640 is the official crowd figure for today. I must admit it looked bigger than that. Robbie O'Davis. Harrigan. Harrigan, good bustling yards. Hagan back for Glanville. McCormick. Sargent. Ooh, that's a good tackle there by Tassel over the top of Singh. Singh has worked very hard in this match today in defence. Jeff Orford. Back towards halfway. Brunker and Herman make the tackle. 14-4 in favour of the boys from Bondi. Ricketson. Marshall. A little mistake there at dummy half. You see that Max Chapman has gone on for Newcastle. He normally plays in the hooker position, but McCormick is still there. Floating pass by Freeman into the arms of Brendan Hall. Freeman once more. Bomb for Robbie O'Davis.
Sorry, Ray, bad chase there, wasn't it, from Eastern Suburbs? The kick wasn't that long. Good front on defence once again there. No Eastern Suburbs players there to contest the ball. You see Freeman putting it up into the breeze. They really had ample time to get there, and O'Davis had a very easy catch in the end.
Glanville plays it. McCormick's the dummy half, and that's Harrigan. Out she comes again. And that was on the end of another tackle by Jason Tassel. Murray. Brendan Hall.
Be hard to leave out of the starting side for Eastern Suburbs next week, both Tassel and Lowry. Singh comes up with a mistake, cleaned up by Wayne Marshall, but knock-on ruled.
Well, they certainly both contributed to whatever's happened here for Eastern Suburbs today. As Rodwell works the scrum just beyond his own 20-metre line. Hagan, Brunker. Gee, there's been some good one-on-one defence in this match. Ricketson was the man, and there he is putting another one back-to-back with the original tackle. McCormack gets out from dummy half, but they're pretty solid this side.
He's been great in defence, Luke Ricketson. Next time that Newcastle go to their back line, you'll see that he's the man under pressure as Sargent juggles the ball. When they're running their decoys, it's normally him who has to make the decision, and on each occasion this afternoon he's made the right one.
Rodwell punching it down inside the 20-metre line for the carry back by Jeff Orford. (14-4) in favour of East. Ricketson flicks it out the back. Silva, he gets into space, has one to beat. O'Davis again, front on, one-on-one performance, excellent. Freeman floats it. Hall does the same, but it goes over the touchline.
There's Craig Salvatore, more bad news. Injury-wise in this game, clutching a collarbone, be a big loss for them. He's led the side well, but a great ball from Ricketson, finding Silva on the inside. A beautiful tackle front on there by Robbie O'Davis.
Just had the feeling that Brendan Hall didn't have to rush that piece of work as much as he did.
Also probably could have gone through the hands, couldn't he, Ray? They had a two-man overlap, it was 2-on-1, so you may as well use that advantage. Go through the sets of hands instead of the cut-out pass.
Brunker. This is Chapman. McCormack brushes away from one, stands in a second, but this East defence mauling over the top of him, as they have been all day. Here's a good ball, and a good run by Big Harrigan. The Chief down to the 22, bumps away from another. Hagan is held. Oh, I thought that would be a certain try. Now they're wide to the left, the Knights. They need quick ball and wide. McCormack away, Rodwell read the play. Marquette to the 20, Brunker gives the pass. Shocking pass for Marquette. Or should I say for Herman.
Yes, it looked like try time, didn't it? Harrigan had a lot of support, and the best man yields. Well, this is the next play where they finally put the ball down. Pass from Brunker to Herman, a little bit in front of him, down it went. That was a let-off.
Gaffey it is that runs away right across the park. Appleby.
Well, he keeps it alive, finds Gaffey. Too much pace for Sargent. Here's O'Davis again called on to make a cover defending tackle. He does so. From end to end this game now.
28 metres out from the Newcastle line. A sloppy play the ball. In fact, the ball was struck for, and referee Harrigan restarts the tackle count. So this is the first. Hall, short pass for Beecraft, who's back on there, and I think he's hurt.
Yes, Harrigan is going to be called out here. Didn't quite see the incident, but the player has stayed down. And this would be an important penalty if it's a decision against Paul Harrigan, right in front of the post, and it is 22 metres out. They'll look to take the two. Here we see the tackle, Harrigan coming in. Yeah, the swinging arm up high. That was on Dennis Beecraft. And Harrigan has been penalised. Beecraft still in a fair degree of trouble out there once again. He hasn't moved. And Harrigan does have a little bit of a reputation, I suppose, for going high. He's been in a little bit of trouble with it over the last 12 months. In the current climate, that's not the place to be going.
He's just explaining that for our viewers in Adelaide and Perth. The new rules of rugby league make it mandatory that you don't strike a player anywhere above the shoulders. And it doesn't matter about the word malice. It just simply says if a player is tackled anywhere above the shoulders, then a penalty must be given. And as we saw on Friday night, you're very likely to get sent off for it.
Well, Beecraft is leaving the field. Craig Salvatore looks as though he will come back into the fray. Apparently just a pinched nerve in the shoulder, and that's great news for Eastern Suburbs. He is there, moving to the sideline, about to go on. Beecroft being aided from the field, so he's taken a fairly heavy knock.
So with Beecraft replaced, Brendan Hall takes the kick from right in front, and no mistakes from the centre three-quarter. He's been kicking well today, and Eastern Suburbs lead 16-4.
An important kick that now into the final quarter of the match. It puts the Eastern Suburbs team 2 converted tries clear. Wouldn't be at all surprised to see the Roosters work for field goal. A couple of exponents out there in Gary Freeman and Brendan Hall. They will be looking for the 1 point.
Schuster gets this next segment of the game going. In fact, about a quarter of the game. Salvatore. Orford. It'd be impossible to think that anybody in this Eastern Suburbs side has played badly. I was about to say that Orford's had a competent game, but then again, you look right across the park and they've all done their job. Lowry, he knocks on. This is still play on. McCormack, a short pass for Herman, who almost went to sleep on it. McCormack, O'Davis. No semblance of a Newcastle back line. All I can see are forwards out wide. Here's Hagan. Hagan gets a one-hander back for Rodwell. Rodwell probes, comes out the other side and throws the pass in desperation. Salvatore to play.
Some good cover there from Eastern Suburbs, but a good break made by Rodwell. Unfortunately, the pass, he was just trying to get in a position to throw it here, and out she pops forward. I think the quality of the Eastern Suburbs defence, Ray, has been shown by the fact they've closed Robbie McCormack down from the dummy half area. I think he's one of the best dummy half runners in the game, and he hasn't been able to get out of there. So they've worked very hard, the Roosters, close to the ruck.
Appleby's work again. His work for the day exemplified by that action, standing and offloading, but Marshall's been hurt in the tackle. Freeman. Sinclair is back on the ground. He and Beecraft were the players that were replaced by Tassel and Lowry for the major part. Freeman. Straight to O'Davis. Now Herman. Rodwell. Chapman.
Swarming defence from East. Good driving tackle, the previous one from Bruce Sinclair. As Michael Hagan throws the ball behind, needs to be picked up by Matthew Rodwell. Just losing their way in attack a little bit now, Newcastle, but it is because of this very solid Roosters defence they're up against.
O'Davis. Hagan driving it down towards the 30-metre line where Rod Silver carries it back for Eastern Suburbs, tries to make the split. 16-4, and time very much running out for Newcastle. Appleby. Sinclair. Freeman. Salvatore. High ball, Orford's going in pursuit of this high kick. Bounce beats all the Eastern Suburbs players, and it's with Herman. Just outside his own 20-metre line. Davis, cross for Ainscough, now for Hagan. Marquette gets it away for Schuster. He's very fast. Here comes Silver across the park. Schuster goes inside him, dashes away from 1 and 2. Oh, goody, Schuster! That's a great try! Good work! Schuster gets the try for the Knights.
And beautiful work from the Newcastle side, prepared to throw the football from their own quarter. Great work from Marquette out wide, put Schuster into the open spaces. He had plenty to do. I thought Gaffey, who was a very quick back rower, may have been able to pick him up. Couldn't do so, but here they are. That's the 20-metre line, so they've got a long way to travel. Nice pass from Hagan. Marquette, the winger comes in. Appleby's not normally a winger, got caught out there. Gaffey in pursuit. Schuster coming up to Rod Silver now, coming across. Scott Murray's there. Gaffey had a good shot. Good friend from Schuster. And he goes in under the posts. 13 minutes to go. That's a crucial try for the Knights. It will be converted by the man who scored the try, so they're right back in this game. Appleby did poorly. Didn't need to come in. But John Schuster really should have been cleaned up here. Silver was caught off balance. There's the fend. The despairing ankle tap attempt. That was no good. And the fans love it.
Oh, that's a superb try. John Schuster. Attempted conversion of his own try. 16-8. Right in front, easy one for John Schuster. He guides it over the bar. And the Knights are within 6 points now.
We've still got 12 minutes left on the clock, so plenty of time for either team to win this game. I do think that Eastern Suburbs will be looking for the field goal, force the opposition to score twice. But to do that, they have to get down the other end of the field as big Mark Sargent comes to the sideline and back into the game.
Salvatore uses the deep kick to get us going again. This is Paul Marquette. He played a part in the try. He gave the last pass to John Schuster. Brunker. The Knights, will they be buoyed on by that try? Can they come back and at least force a draw?
Well, the 16,000 people are buoyed by that try. And if anything can lift a side, it's their home support. Really a buzz going around the Marathon Stadium now. That was a great try from Schuster.
David Boyd. Last tackle, the kick will come. Rodwell. Oh, he's put it out on the full. Turnover, 40 metres out from the Newcastle line. Appleby. Dragged down by David Boyd.
Freeman pointing to the centre of the field here. He wants his players to take it towards the post. Got no doubt if he gets an opportunity, he'll try and take the one. Well, they've gone the other way by Gaffey. Back inside to Appleby. Might have made a mistake in that last try, but he has got a future in the game, this kid.
8 metres away from the line. It's with Freeman now. Sinclair. Now they're in the centre of the ground. Freeman calls for it. Pushes it through the hands and through Murray to Tassel. Gets his pass to Orford. That's the ball game. Orford gets his second try.
Oh, forget the field goal. Have enough confidence in the outside men to put a try on. Beautiful work there from the replacement player, Jason Tassel. Got a great ball away. Gary Freeman directing things once again. Lovely work here. This is where the try is set up. Brunker caught out poorly in defence. Herman actually falls over. Nice little swan dive at the end there. I don't know if it was needed, but who cares? Jeff Orford has scored the important 4 points. This is the good work here from this replacement player here, Tassel. Commits 2 players. Brunker needed to stay out, and there's Herman. Well, he fell at the wrong time. And 20 points to 10. You'd think that would wrap it up. We're into the final 10.
Jeff Orford scoring the try and giving Brendan Hall yet another wide range kick at goal into the breeze. Well, the Knights, with the try by John Schuster, saw very few of the 16,000 people leaving the ground, but now they're looking for the exits.
Big mistake from Matthew Rodwell, wasn't it? Kicking out on the full, giving possession away inside their own half there. It's an uncharacteristic mistake. His kicking game is normally very, very good. On that occasion, took the outside of the boot, sailed over the touchline and gave up possession.
Hall. 22 out, and he hooks it badly. But he won't be worried about it, I wouldn't imagine. 20 points to 10. Nice score line for Eastern Suburbs.
And Eastern Suburbs, of course, now just looking to wind down the clock. They don't really need to score again, just keep their line intact. So it'll be no mistake football, and that's what they're good at.
Schuster's kick brought back by Salvatore. He left the field. We thought he might have done a collarbone, but apparently it was only a pinched nerve. He's played strongly today. They're going to beat plenty of sides in this competition, Eastern Suburbs, on what we've seen today. They just don't give you anything. Lowry. Marshall. Freeman. Ainscough. And a penalty goes to Newcastle. That's against East for stealing the ball. Ainscough takes Rodwell takes a quick tap. Herman runs straight into the defence line. Lowry has come from the field. Hagan, Schuster's with it. Put down by McCormick. That's a knock on now. He was playing the advantage, but the scrum will pack 40 metres away from the Newcastle line.
Plenty of desperation in the Knights play now, coming up with some mistakes. Running out of time.
Young Gillard has gone on now for East, taking the place of Lowry. Gaffey away from the back of the scrum. That is Gillard with it now. Sinclair. Salvatore. Brendan Hall. He's about 15 out from the line. A chance here for East. Salvatore throws the pass over the top, basketball fashion.
We'll have the option now with it to go for the bomb. We're just rolling into the in goal and try and get the ball back. Freeman goes the blind side, throws the ball away. They didn't get a kick in. We'll just wind down the clock that little bit more.
O'Davis. Hagan, along the line she comes. Glanville. put away 15 metres out from the Newcastle line. Herman. 5 gone now for the Newcastle side. Trailing by 20 to 10. O'Davis across. Harrigan gives the final pass for Ainscough to be tackled. Ball comes back between his legs. That's the advantage applied. Sinclair to play. Tassel. Floating pass out for Orford.
It's been a very good performance from Eastern Suburbs. Showing the people what they're capable of once again this year. Also showing they've got a good bench. The players that have come into the side have done a great job. To do well in this competition, you certainly need a good starting 15. East have got that. They've repelled everything that Newcastle have had to throw at them.
Young Luke Ricketson is the player injured. Gillard. Dying minutes of the game. Marshall away for Freeman. Freeman kicks for these outside backs. Hall goes into it fast, but Godden takes it safely. Well, what's he doing? He's taken them over for a line dropout. Well, that's the wrong ruling by Bill Harrigan.
Well, Harrigan has ruled that the player catching the ball tried to keep play going.
No. It's become mandatory
well,
now.
Right. Once you catch it, we'll see it here as the kick goes over. Once he catches this ball, it should. Well, he's either ruled out, maybe ruled that O'Davis was still in the field of play and took it into the in-goal area.
Well, I don't think anybody in the world agrees with him. It was a 22 place kick restart.
Well, at 20 to 10 with 2 minutes to go, fortunately it's not going to have a great bearing on the game, but it was certainly an unusual call from Bill Harrigan. I guess that's what he has ruled, hasn't it? That O'Davis took the ball into the in-goal area. Caught at one side of the try line and grounded at the other side.
Well, he's the only one that thinks so. Brendan Hall. Play just inside the 20-metre line. East slowing it right down. Time in their favour. Scoreboard on their side. Gaffey's done well. He's put this all together. Appleby is the man tackled. Freeman. Salvatore. Now he's fielded this in the in-goal. The same thing, and he's taken it out for a 22-place kick restart.
And Robbie O'Davis looked straight at Bill Harrigan as if to say, well, what are you going to do this time?
Okay.
The quick tap start was what Newcastle took.
No wonder the fans are having trouble on occasions following this. McCormick away. Hagan sweeps it across for the big fella Harrigan. 40 metres out from his own line. Rodwell. O'Davis. Last minute of play. Glanville for Rodwell. Hagan. Brunker. Tackled on the halfway. So 20 points to 10 looks like it's going to be the final score. McCormick floats it across for Rodwell. Then Schuster steps away from Brendan Hall. A kick and chase for himself, but there to take the ball to ground is Gillard. And seconds ticking away. With the Roosters, a thoroughly impressive performance. They didn't come here with too many people thinking that they would win the ball game, but they've done more than that. They've been decisive in their work. Marshall has cramped up. The siren has sounded. And Bill Harrigan acknowledges that. So at full time, the Roosters, a marvellous performance, defeating Newcastle by 20 points to 10.